All right, welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 342. It's the first episode in June 2021, and we are going to get all of your questions answered. The page may look a little funky, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then what you definitely need to do is go to semanticmastery.com/HD questions and actually just bookmark that. Go ahead and just put it up there in your browser so you can always go there and ask your questions, get them answered. I'll give you a second. Just go ahead and bookmark it. Now, just kidding. We're happy you're here or checking out the replay. Either way, we appreciate it. We love answering your questions, and we're happy to get on them today. We're going to do some quick announcements and then get on into it. So I'm going to go around the circle here. Chris, you're first on the list here today. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Temperatures are up. Definitely summer here. Got a pretty nice workout in today, then hit the race cycle. So time to catch up now that the lockdowns are hopefully over for a longer time.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Marco, how you doing today?
What can I say? Groundhog Day. Always warm, always beautiful in Costa Rica. It is the middle of the rainy season, but it hasn't rained in the last 3 days. We do get periods like that. So it's just, man, it's a fantastic time. It's a fantastic time to be online and making money. It's just, I don't know. For some reason, it just seems to be easy. It's always been easy to rank. It's always been easy to get people to take action on a page. What's been difficult, especially local, is, believe it or not, getting someone to take the calls that you generate. It's like you go to these people, they're very unsophisticated. And so, okay, so what's up? What's in it for you again? Well, you're going to pay me for every call. And what's in it for me? Well, you're going to make money from the people, obviously, that I give you that are hot leads because they're calling the number to ask for your services, whether it's emergency, just whatever it is. So that's the difficult part. It's interesting because you could be generating a whole lot of calls. And, it happened to me, believe it or not, at the beginning when cannabis started becoming the hot thing. It was really hard to call one of these dispensaries in California, by the way, Adam, and talk to these guys and like get them to see, oh, dude, but I'm great, man. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go grab my surfboard and you're like, wait, no, wait a minute. I want to get people to your store so that you can sell them more. And now it's like the conversation. Well, how are you gonna do that? And so it's that this whole unmotivated thing where he's making enough so that he can smoke his bud and go surf. This is before really the multinationals and everybody started dumping all that money in there. I could generate calls at will, but it was really difficult getting people to take those calls. And as a matter of fact, I left those. I think I sold those off, sold those assets. I can't remember to whom, but anyway, just to say, it's easy. The process works. So you go through the process and train. Then you set up your own systems to make the process work. You apply, you make money, but rather than spend that money on bud and a new surfboard, you hire someone. You hire someone so that person can train and help you apply. Now you're making more money, and now you might have some income that you may not need, right? It's discretionary, and you might want some of that really good Jamaican creepy and the brand new surfboard, and then you just lather, rinse, repeat. And that's how it works. I know I'm oversimplifying, and the people are saying it can't be that easy. Yes, the fuck it can. It's been 18 years. Yeah, it's been 18 years in the making, guys. Bradely with over a decade. I know Hernan, it's almost a decade. It's almost a decade for Semantic Mastery, so longer than that. Adam, I think you're the one, as far as marketing, that's like the young guy in the crew. But man, it's a decade in the making. It's not an overnight thing that we did. It's repeatable processes that we can give to people so that they can repeat the process. Lather, rinse, repeat. What more can I say? This is Costa Rica. This is where I choose to be, as I always say. And it doesn't get any better than this, man.
Outstanding, Marco. I like it. Yes, the what is it, 5 to 10 years and then an overnight success.
Yeah, overnight success.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Hernan, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. I'm doing really well. I have some good stuff coming up. I had some calls with clients today and with potential clients actually, and we closed 2. So it's looking good. The agency is growing, so that's looking good. And as usual, we're going to pour some. We're going to create some semantic mastery. I would say training for our students based on the learnings that we're having and how to grow your agency. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'm excited about being here as usual. So
nice. Bradley, how about yourself?
Good. Happy to be here. Busy as can be as usual. But my blogger started full time yesterday, which now is freed up probably at least 2 hours per day, if not 3. So for me, which is great because now I can focus on some higher level stuff and more prospecting and sales because I want to be like Hernan when I grow up and grow my agency the way he is. So I got to get back to doing what's really important, which is prospecting and sales. Now that I've got somebody doing some of the fulfillment stuff that I was actually doing myself for the last 6 or 8 weeks. So things are right. And I totally agree with what Marco said. If you have a repeatable process, and I think that's really important. I use Process Street for like developing process docs for all my VAs and even for just internal stuff, even stuff that I do myself. And over the last few weeks now, I've really developed out a great GMB checklist that just like it has basically it's continually evolving. It's continually evolving, but it's great because I just go in and run a checklist from the template for each new project. And I can go right on down the line and just check off the boxes as each item is completed. And so at any time I can walk away from it and come back at a later time. And I know exactly right where I need to pick back up with all the items that are left to do. And I'm telling you guys, something as simple as just having a checklist for, everything that needs to be done for a project that you can duplicate for the next project, it really helps you to stay on track and makes it a repeatable process. Too many people I know come into our mastermind and such, and when we have our interviews with them, and they say that they don't have a hard time getting consistent results. And you find out when you really get down, you ask them questions about their processes and such, is that they do a little bit of this here and a little bit of that there, but they never really do everything from start to finish for any one project. And then they wonder why they have inconsistent results. And I've been guilty of that myself, but I've gotten a lot more organized over the last couple of years, and just having simple checklists really does help. So I would encourage you guys to look into that. But other than that, it's good stuff. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I do the same with ClickUp. Brian Cato, mastermind members, turned me on to that. So I've been using that for about a year, and that's been great. So like with my clients now on the email side, I bring people in. I've got the first 90 days laid out. And after that, I always, and I say this truthfully, my crystal ball only goes 3 months out. Like after that, it's fair game. But I can see the first 3 months until we have it just laid out. And it's so nice to just be able to click something, duplicate it, assign it, and then that stuff gets done. So there's always stuff to customize, but that's like 80% of the work right there. So let's see, something else I wanted to touch on, and now I'm losing my mind. Oh, that's right. Speaking of email. So I picked up a lot of stuff on the cold email front from Bradely. Some stuff I've done in the past and shared in the mastermind. And then Bradley, you talked to Daniel Fazio. I might be screwing up his name, but he's got the great cold email mastery course, went through that, and I'm going to be doing some more of that. So I'll be sharing that with mastermind members. So if you guys are interested in seeing someone who hasn't been doing cold email for very long, I'm going to be sharing the results of that. So I'm getting that started, working out some kinks. Been sketching out on my whiteboard, recording videos, and going to get that going. So looking forward to seeing how that goes and sharing that in the mastermind. So other than that, though, I think that's about it for announcements. Is there anything else we need to cover, you guys?
I think we're good.
All right.
Let's
So
do it.
let's do it.
Subscribe to our channel, YouTube, help us grow.
Yeah, definitely. And our page is a little funky today, but it's working. So if it looks a little different to you guys, it's because we're missing some banners or something. They're here, but you just can't see them. So we have to fix that. First question up
everywhere
is,
on the page.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that they're there. You just can't see them. So First question is, adding the main keyword to an image before uploading it to GMB would make Google to read that text even if Exif data might be removed by Google. Is that a valid thought? Yes, absolutely it is. Exif data and metadata and all that does get stripped once it's been uploaded, but when you upload it, Google reads it. So it's really beneficial to do so. As we always talk about, it's best if you can have like an original image, like if it's for local, to have an original image taken from a mobile device that has GPS enabled, because the location data, a ton of data actually gets embedded in the image as metadata. It's really, really cool. I've done this before. I think Rob was the one that pointed it out, and so I tested it. But you take a picture or a short video or something on your phone, like in a moving car, and it'll even tell you like what your speed was, like the velocity at which you were going when the image was taken or the video was taken. It'll show you where the location is. It's crazy. There's a ton of information that gets added to those images. But when you upload them, it strips it out, because if you then download it back from Google, and depending on how you do it, you can't really do that from GMB anymore anyways. But you'll see that it's just a blank image, no metadata, but Google sees that data when you upload it. So you made comments on that, guys?
No, absolutely, and it's not only the main keyword, but you should be targeting the keyword set or entity and main entities, since we're in the semantic web.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next question is, hey guys, what are your thoughts on blockchain and the future of SEO? Do you think we will have decentralized domains and servers? I have zero opinion on that because I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. Perhaps Marco or one of you other guys do?
No, not as far as blockchain, because I'm not getting far into that, because I'll just go down a rabbit hole and I'll want to know everything that there is to know about blockchain, and that's not my idea. When I mentioned this last week, that I was forming a crypto, it's not even an investment club. It's a buying and selling. It's a trading club. The idea is to go and profit from the rise and fall of crypto, rather than to marry some kind of coin as a long-term investment. Although you can do that, there are some that you can track that you just know are going to take off. But my idea is just very simple gains every day. Adam mentioned the book that you and he read, The Small Gains. It's very simple, just small gains every day. We have people all over the world. Why not benefit from having people? Dedi is in India. Chris Greenhow is in the UK. Why not benefit from all of it? Because it's 24/7. Trading doesn't stop. Rise and fall. So even if it's going up, there are dips in that rise. I'm sure you've all seen a graph over time, and it's just taking advantage, having buy and sell orders to take advantage of those dips, even during a rise or during a fall. When it's falling, you're still going to have upward trends, although the overall trend is downward. So it's just benefiting from those and having people online who can view the data and take advantage of the data real time, so that you place your order, you place your buy, you place your sell, and then you're never in a position to like lose everything or win everything, because the idea is to make small wins over time. 1% a day turns into a whole lot of money. Yeah. When it accrues daily. It compounds daily, guys. So it's exponential growth. It's what we're looking at. And I got to get to the people. I have 11. It was going to be 10, but someone came and begged me to please let me join. So I did.
Yeah, I think the book you were talking about was James Clear, Atomic Habits, and he calls it the aggregate of incremental gains.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Adam?
So small bits at a time, and we're good to go. I don't know anything about blockchain, so.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I had to do some quick searching because I thought this was something else. So apparently, this is new to me, PJ. Like blockchain domains is actually a thing. So the blockchain in the sense of crypto, the domain is stored there, so anyone can look at the records. So that's an interesting concept. For me personally, it's more of I'm going to sit back and wait and see, because it's kind of, and this is getting into like Twitter flame war territory. So I'm going to try to keep this short, but it was touted, and a lot of the people behind that believe in crypto are like, this is gonna, totally decentralize banking and overnight upset the entire world order.
No.
That hasn't happened. I still think there's a ton of potential, but I think when people tout this, I always want to look back and be like, who's saying this? Why are they saying it? What's their stake in this game? Is the article written by the guy who's selling domains via the blockchain? And just going a layer deeper. But without getting into that, I think that this is interesting and that there's a lot of possibilities. The thing that immediately came to mind was, forming trust and authority in the sense of, if it really is more transparent, that may be an easier way for systems like Google's algorithms to maybe recognize certain trustworthiness factors as they determine them. So anyways, that's the only thing that really comes to mind, but I don't think that this is going to be an immediate change, because a lot of what people also want is privacy. So there's kind of two competing things going on here, I think, but interesting technology, and I'm sure we'll see more of that.
Yeah. Sweet. Next is Gordon. What's up, Gordon? He says, hey guys, you'll probably think this is a dumb question. Not at all, Gordon.
No.
You should know better than that. He says, but I have never built a Google site website before, so I have no clue how different it is from a regular site. And I was wondering about these two things. Number one, does it provide an easy way to access the HTML code for a page to enable you to add an iframe or JavaScript code between the HTML head tags? No, you cannot do that. Google sites are real easy to build out because they're just like, blocks, and essentially they're just blocks, and you can insert text or images or embed blocks, and you can move stuff around and resize the blocks, and it's real easy to edit, but you can't get into the HTML header. Unless there's some hack that I'm unaware of, but I'm sure Marco would have shared that with me by now if there was. So,
no, I mean, the only thing that we could do is insert code into it, but you can't go in. You can't go into the code. You can't go into the header code. Google will not allow that.
Yeah.
And it's understandable why they would not allow you to go into the code. It's a very basic. It's about drag and drop now.
Yeah.
The new G sites. It's a drag and drop kind of content management system. Very basic, no scripts, no nothing right now. It might improve over time, but there is no easy access to the HTML. Although you can add iframes very simply and very easily, and you can add JavaScript.
Yeah, it's like I said, you could do the embed codes, and you can either embed by URL or actually add embed codes with the G sites. It's super easy to edit. I've actually been editing some of my G sites lately to optimize the page content with Surfer SEO, and getting better results with those is just from going through and actually optimizing the pages that MGYB provides. They've always worked, been fine, but I've got a writer now who's re-optimizing all of my existing content out there, and I'm starting to see some improvements from stuff already. So I've been in there quite a bit, and so is she. So
you got to remember, the whole idea behind that is either to copy the content from your website over to the Google site, which works fine because you're not going to file a DMCA claim against yourself for using your own content.
Yeah. So
that's perfectly fine, and you're going to attribute the content. You're going to relate the G site to the money site. You're going to form that relationship through the schema. So there's really no problem doing that, but it does stand to reason that if the bot is looking for fresh, unique, relevant content updated on a regular basis, that if someone went over the content that we give you in the beginning and tuned the content for the bot, although we cannot get schema in there, that in and of itself would be enough to give you a boost. And it does. Good content tuned for the entity and the user. It provides a good user experience, and it gives you an extra place where a user can convert, because those will rank.
Yeah, they sure will. And that's part of the reason I started doing that, was because some of my G sites for client projects are ranking. And so it's like, okay, well, if they're going to rank, we might as well tune the content so that it's even more relevant and has a better chance to convert as well. So we go in and we squeeze in calls to action and all that other kind of stuff. And some really cool ninja stuff that I'm not going to share here, but in the mastermind, I'm happy to share. So I'm getting really, really good results from G sites lately. Not that we didn't before, but just some of the things that, tuning them, and all of a sudden they get even better results is all I'm saying. So Okay, next, digital. Wahid, what's up? He says he's been coming and asking lots of good questions lately, so we appreciate that. He says, can we purchase backlink packages from SEOeStore? I don't even know what that is.
No.
For our tier 1 or tier 2 assets. I have seen Bradley mentioning a done-for-you service, but how can we build these bulk backlinks if we want to do it on our own? Well, the done-for-you service we're talking about is an MGYB, and that's the link building services that are for specifically to power up tier 1 entity assets and, you know, further tiers out, right? It's not for money site. You don't want to be linking to your money site with those. It's strictly for powering up tier 1, like this, the SEO Shield, basically syndication network properties, the SEO Shield, Drive Stack, G Site, all that kind of stuff. And then you can obviously power up stuff that's further out as well. But I don't recommend, we always tell you guys not to order those types of links directly to your money site. In fact, Marco was just talking about this the other day. You know, he never builds any backlinks to his site other than through the SEO Shield at all. I do through press releases and also some strategic other types of links occasionally, like guest posts and things like that. But for the most part, you know, I still just build everything to our tier 1 entity assets that are built within the SEO Shield. Again, syndication network properties, perhaps a well-optimized post on a WordPress site from the syndication network property or the Tumblr or something like that. But they're all tier 1 entity assets, and then we build links to those. Like a very, very rarely will I build, you know, like, well, I use press releases still quite a bit, but even then I'm still pushing more press release links now to the tier 1 entity assets as opposed directly to the money site. Just getting really good results like that. And again, G Site is one of the best targets for that kind of stuff, guys. So do that. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I like for the SEO Shield to take the brunt of the hit, because believe it or not, manual actions are still alive and well. I was just reading about a law firm that got hit for using combinations of EDU, scholarship links, guest posting links, and a few other purchased links. And those, it's incredible how easy it is to pick those out coming into your money site because of how they stand out from your natural pattern, from your natural link pattern. Think about it. It's not many people who offer a scholarship first and foremost. And if you do, it would probably be in a local university. Now, all of a sudden, your website has 50 EDU backlinks, all from scholarships. Now, Google tends to devalue those. They don't usually count them because they're considered irrelevant. So Google, for the most part, will not pay attention to them unless you do the right job of boosting them the right way. But then they get picked out, and in a manual, guys, when that happens, you see that come up in Search Console. You have an unnatural linking pattern, so you better get busy and start getting rid of those links. So all that money and all that effort just went to waste. Instead, I'd rather just hide in between the billions of links that Google has and the millions and billions of links that other Web 2.0s have and other social media platforms have. I'd rather for my links to hide in between all of those and then just push the power over to the money site and let the money site accrue links naturally over time, because those will happen. Those will happen as you start getting found, as people start finding you, as people start using the plummet, you'll be shared. People talk about you in Facebook, in social media, which is what you want anyway. You want that to happen naturally. In the meantime, protect yourself. Now, I always tell people, don't you, right? So as far as what I do it a little bit different, and I will shoot a press release over to the money site in a very targeted way and hidden in between all of your pillowing is what Becker used to call it. So pillowing the links so that they can take that direct hit. But if you don't know what you're doing, you better not be doing any of that. So I recommend for all of you not to build links to your money site, not even press releases, because that's what the SEO Shield is for. And the SEO Shield will actually amplify the link power. It will exponentiate the link power, so what you get to the money site in the end is greater than if you had gone to the money site directly. It's really interesting what happens through all of the iframes that we build and the internal linking structure that we have in our G sites and in our drive stacks and in our expansion stacks that add power and multiply the power. And then the way that we're teaching in the Heavy Hitter Club to then interlink your money site so that everything flows correctly and continues to create that exponential power. There's a correct way to do that, and then there's a way that just shuts the link flow, and it might end up in your about page, in your contact us page, in a place where you don't need your link power to accrue. So just be very careful and know, I mean, think about it. We have the service, Wahid, in mgyb.co. We offer link building. It's Dedia's link building. If you want to do it on your own, you're more than welcome to go through all of the different tools that Dedia has gone through, because he started out with SENuke, SENuke X, Money Robot, all of it. He had to learn all of those and then find the one that worked for him. The GSA, he's also been through. So he had to go through all of those. He still offers GSA to find the one that worked the best. And we can't give you here what works best, since he had to spend all of that money and time to find that out on his own. You're welcome to go try it. I think they still offer SENuke X. Ranker X is another one that Dedia uses. I'll mention that. As I said, Money Robot, GSA, and come up with your own. Now think of the time, money, effort, and everything else that you're going to have to spend to learn to use these correctly. And then you'll see that the link building packages that we offer on mgyb.co will save you a whole lot of headache, money, and time, and a lot of resources, which if you're trying to grow your business, you shouldn't even spend time doing this or trying to learn to do bulk backlinking.
Yeah, and just I've been, I know we don't, for years, we haven't really looked at third-party metrics or anything, but lately I've been doing a lot more research on local competitors and been using Majestic for backlink research. And their trust flow metric is still decent, in my opinion. It's something that I've completely ignored for years, the last several years, but I've just been doing a lot of analysis on local competitors because I didn't give a shit at all about organic rankings for many years now. I've just always cared about maps rankings. However, because of the content tuning tools and like conversion AI, which just makes it easy to draft content. And that's, again, I've been doing a lot of that. I've been focusing a lot more on, because the map stuff is, what we do for maps works. So I've been working on ranking organic stuff too. Like, so the, associated website for the projects that do have WordPress sites, I've been analyzing competitors that are ranking in the organic section and looking at backlink profiles. And what I found is quite amazing is that there's so many organic listings that rank for local terms in the tree service industry, especially, that, I mean, they're very little backlinks. It's insane. It's mostly, I guess, age, brand authority, things like that help in the rank, and internal links, but very little off-page linking. And so I've been getting a little bit more strategic about that. And one of the things I have tested was guest posts. On a few cases, I've tested guest posts, and they're hit or miss, guys. You got to be real careful with guest posts. As Marco just said, you can get a penalty for it, number one. But number two, if you buy guest posts, you got to, when you get them delivered, you got to analyze them, because what you'll find is a lot of those guest posts are orphaned pages, which is bullshit. They'll sell you a guest post for $100 or whatever it is, $85, sometimes way more, depending on what metrics you're buying, which again are third-party proprietary metrics. But that's kind of how you judge what you're buying, right? But then you get it delivered and you find out that there's no internal links from the domain that they sold you the metrics on, pointing to that page that they published the guest post on. And so you end up with a guest post that's an orphan page that is getting no internal link juice. So basically none of the metrics that are even pushing over to that page. And it's insane because you spent a shit ton of money on that. And I've been burned by that in the past couple of months now on a few different guest posts. Now, some of them are done right. For example, I've got one that I was just looking at today for one of my client sites that I had purchase of a guest post on that has amazing metrics. It's got a 39 trust flow from that page to my client's site, and which is incredible. But something else was really interesting is I've been looking at is I built a directory site for tree services, and I guess some of the stuff that I've done in there, which was just internal linking the way that we, Marco and Rob teach, It's crazy because I've got, and again, I know we don't typically talk about metrics, but I've been doing a lot of research with Majestic recently, and that particular site, my directory site, some of the directory pages in there, which are my own lead gen assets or some of my client sites that I've added pages to the directory site for, and I've done some pretty strategic internal linking stuff there, and I've got in some cases in the mid 30s trust flow with the citation flow like in the mid teens, which is great because that's showing high authority being pushed to the pages without a lot of links. The way Majestic does things is it doesn't show internal links. It only shows external links. So if you've got a real high trust flow and there's no external links showing in Majestic, then that's all trust flow that was generated through internal links. And there's some of the other stuff there was a sale last week or earlier for SEO Power Suite. And I purchased it. I haven't used SEO Power Suite stuff in forever, but Website Auditor is a crawler. It's like Screaming Frog or Sitebulb or whatever, but it's a desktop crawler. And it's pretty cool because it has what they call InRank, which is kind of like its own, proprietary idea of what PageRank is. So you can crawl a site and kind of get an idea of where your internal links are pushing, internal link juice to. And so you can, it shows a visual representation similarly to what Majestic does with their link graphs. So you can kind of get an idea as to which pages or posts on your site are accruing the most weight from the internal linking. And you can adjust it and modify it as such, or accordingly. And that's kind of what I've been doing with my directory site and just been able to get an amazing amount of power pushed to internal pages purely through internal linking. Almost purely through internal linking, and it's just been really cool. I'm just fascinated with link sculpting and stuff now. That for years I completely got away from doing it. And again, going back to what Marco was saying, the SEO Shield, it's incredible how much power you can push with that, and a GMB. It's crazy. and I never really looked at the metrics before because I just knew it worked. But now that I'm actually digging into the numbers and the metrics and such, it's incredible to see how much power you can truly push with that stuff. You want to comment on that again, Marco, at all?
No, exponential power.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's another one called OnCrawl or something that they call it. InRank is what they call their internal, like their PageRank algorithm for quantifying internal link juice. It's pretty cool. So anyway, you guys might want to check it out. Number 2 was I have seen people selling industry specific traffic. Do you have any idea how they do it? Other than from paid ads, I don't know. Any idea, Marco, what he's talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah. My guess would be paid traffic, paid ads. Also, I know in Fiverr you could buy somewhat relevant traffic, they call it, but that I've used it for press releases in the past. But that's from like domain parking. So if somebody like does a search for something and they land on a park domain that's supposedly themed, they'll sell you themed traffic from that. It was real spammy stuff, but I've done it for press releases in the past. Now I just buy the damn traffic from Google. And it's relevant and it's real traffic. All right, Jay says, I manage large franchise auto dealers and want to know the best way to power up their websites. I cannot point any spammy stuff at their websites. I do on-page schema and GMB management and consulting. Well, you're in the right place then. That's what the SEO Shield is all about. If you're not familiar with that, go to right there. Perfect. Adam just posted it 2 comments below yours. Jay, he says, the SEO Shield, that is like what we've just been talking about now for the last 10 minutes. That's exactly what you want to do is the SEO Shield for your clients' websites. In fact, if it's for one brand, you said large franchise, boy, you can push a hell of a lot of power through a branded Drive Stack and G site that you continually expand for each individual dealership with the RYS expansions or the location shields. Like you can push an incredible amount of power through that and accrue a lot of power into that Drive Stack and the G site. So the SEO Shield. Marco, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I asked him to come here because this was really interesting. He's managing an auto dealer franchise or a set of franchises, and what he's doing is schema and MGYB management. What he means by MGYB management and consulting, I have no idea. But I did want to tell, look, we have local GMB Pro. We were like the ones who started. We were the ones who showed how you use GMB and how to optimize GMB and how to get the most out of GMB to push up your site into what was then the 5-pack or the 7-pack. I can't remember what it was. It changed right in between there to a 3-pack. But the training is still relevant to this day. So whatever it is that you're doing for them, local GMB Pro will teach you how to post, what to post, and the way that you need to do the posting to get the most out of it. 1. 2, the SEO Shield, so that you get familiar with what it is, because it does include schema or getting your organization, your entity information all in one place. So this is auto dealer franchises in different places. How you're going to associate each one of those to the main entity. So whatever it is, whether it's a Kia set of franchises, whether it's Toyota, Ford, Chevy, whatever it is you're doing, you have to have the organization. And how many franchises does that parent organization have? So let's say you have 5. Well, you have to relate those 5 to that main entity, or else you have 5 separate entities and you have to rank 5 separate things. Whereas, and it's a good thing that you're in Rob's schema course, because what he shows is how you take those 5 different dealerships, and if they belong to one franchise owner, then, well, it also depends on what the brand, what the car maker will let you do, but how you relate those one to the other, the parent-child relationship, so that you create the organization. And then I take it these would be in different locations, or they sell different automakers for the same franchise owner. How you relate all of these different ones and make it all about one general thing. So now your brand, now you're the main entity, but it's also your brand, and how you go and promote that brand, and how you get that message out, how you relate the brand to the entities and keywords in the industry, so that you start ranking for them. That's what it's all about. And if you want the real nitty gritty on how this happens, that's the Heavy Hitter Club. The Heavy Hitter Club is where we take you into that technical SEO realm, where we show you the different things that you can do with schema, the different things that you can do with the entity, the different things that you can do with content. With the GMB, we do a lot of things. Bradley's been through the training. We go in depth into GMB, things that we don't generally teach in local GMB Pro, because it gets into the technical SEO aspect. It gets into how you generate exponential power to everything that you're doing. So it's all of these different things, how to put it all together. And then if you're looking to branch out, because people, once you get that good, people will start approaching you. Can you help me? It's all about growing your business and growing your agency or whatever it is that you're doing. And that's the Semantic Mastery Mastermind. So I don't want to make this a pitch fest about what we do, but what you're looking for is what we do.
Yeah.
All of the processes and all of the systems that we've created over time is exactly what you're looking for. I can tell you right now, schema is just starting to scratch the surface of the power that you can generate. GMB management and consulting, whatever that means, I can guarantee you, you haven't even scratched the surface of what you can do with GMB and how to use it and how to get the best results from it, pushing power into your auto dealers. So there you go. Start there. The SEO Shield, that training is free. We have plenty of resources free in our YouTube channel. Go ahead and make sure that
Jay's saying that the link isn't working. Jay, just go to, it's because of the way that it was hyperlinked in the chat. Just go to the SEOshield.com. Just type it in your address bar, the SEOshield.com, and it'll work. It's just the way that it was hyperlinked in that comment that is why it's not working. Okay. So try it and you'll see. There you go. Much better, Adam. Thank you. And Adam, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I just had an idea, and this is because I deal primarily with like funnels and email. But when he started saying multiple, and it turns out, so he had a message on YouTube, and James was saying, I mean, there's 25 dealers here in Seattle. So, hey, what's up, Seattle? I'm in Seattle too. But the thing that struck me was a lot of times we don't see some of the opportunities. And I'm curious for you guys on the call, when I hear that, I think, oh man, I remember the times I've gone and bought a car or inquired at a car dealership, and it's like I get email follow-ups, like I get notifications from them. And if you're talking about 25 dealerships, like that's a lot of traffic that they potentially could direct. And I know as someone who deals with like planning email for multiple businesses, looking at this different content, like what else can we tell people or share with people? And social media posts are great. GMB posts, if they're of substance, could be interesting. And so I'm wondering what you guys think about using things like the inbuilt or in-house email list and sending people back to the GMB to look at a post or to the website to look at actual articles, and just instead of sending an email saying, Nissans are on sale for the summer sale. There's so much more we can do. And in my mind, that would help drive a lot of engagement on the site. And
oh my God.
GMB, right?
If you have an email list and I really discovered what Adam is talking about. It absolutely moves the needle. If you send people to like traffic from an email list where it clicks through to like a GMB post or something like that, it will absolutely give you a boost because of all that traffic that you push into it. It's crazy. But like something else is when I was doing direct mail for my real estate business, people would get the letter when, I was targeting landowners and sending them letters saying, hey, I know you got a piece of vacant land. If you're interested in selling it, either call this number, which was an 800 number, or go to my landing page, go to my website and submit the property information sheet or form. And a lot of people would end up going and searching Google for the brand name of my real estate business. And then they would click through to the landing page. And I wasn't even doing SEO when I first started that. I was just running paid traffic and doing direct mail. And, but I started to rank like within a matter of a couple of weeks with zero SEO done. And I started ranking #1 in the state of Virginia for the, my primary keywords. And it was because of the traffic that was the search and click traffic, the brand searches, they call them navigational search queries that were, from people receiving my mail and then my direct mail, physical mail, and then they would go search the brand name in Google and then click through. And so it would rank. And that's just, again, so what Adam just said is absolutely true. If you've got access to, marketing like email lists and things like that, then, you can do a lot with directing targeted traffic to specific points that will help your SEO, your whole digital presence in general.
Yeah, without knowing a lot of what James is saying, like if you're but if you're doing schema, GMB, you probably are not in control of the email list, or you may not be, but it may be a value add where you can bring this up as a strategy to the owners, if you're not the owner, and say, hey, before you guys have sales, you should direct some traffic to the site and to these GMB posts announcing it. During the sale, you probably want to send them somewhere more targeted. But, this is just some of those ideas where you can get a lot more power out of shit you already have. The additional cost to the business is trivial at that point.
Post with a coupon that send people over to the page. So maybe the people who are due a service for whatever. Now the car is due brakes. You just you have a million excuses to send people an email on that list, getting them into that GMB post to power up the GMB, and then having those people click over. Coupons work phenomenally well in GMB. Offers work great. Anytime that you can get people into thinking that they're getting something free, they don't have to know why it is that you're doing it, but they think, okay, I'm getting something free, and all I have to do is click. And the traffic, natural traffic, is what wins, and what that person does at the end. You're going to have some people take advantage of that coupon and click to call or fill out the form or go to the calendar and schedule having their car come in for that service, whatever it is, tires, brakes, there's so many things now available to you, and 25 dealerships with who knows how many years of having sold people automobiles. You could probably target the list and get new car sales just from that, just from getting people back in. Hey, remember us, we took care of you, whatever. It's just, there's so many ways to make money. It gets ridiculous.
I like that comment.
So it's like James was saying there, he's trying to get the training, go through the training. So James, it sounds like what you're saying is you want to go through the training, come up with the process so that then you can either hand this off or sell it to the other 92 consultants like yourself, or take over their business. That's how I'm reading it. If that's not true, let us know. But I think that, you're on the right starting point here.
I would suggest, joining the Heavy Hitter Club to get the idea of, how to best put the pieces together and utilize the strategies, but not how to actually build everything. I mean, you can, but it sounds like you would be much better off at learning the concepts and how to direct it and manage it. And then you can order the done-for-you services from MGYB so that you can scale very quickly, because that way, instead of learning how to actually do all this stuff manually, I mean, you certainly could if you wanted, but you sound like you're in a much better position to kind of like direct and manage that type of work. And that would be great for us at MGYB, have a high volume client, which, by the way, we would, high volume clients get, special deals at times. So you just have to reach out if that's something that you did. So comments on that?
No, he says he's going to train them, but he wants to put the process together first. We've already put the process together, is what I'm trying to tell you, James. The process is in place. You would have to create the systems for how you apply for how the process works in whatever it is that you do. But it doesn't work any differently. Listen, local, national, global, it's all relative. It doesn't matter. Once you create the correct schematic relationships, it doesn't make any difference where you are or what your target is. The process is always the same. The process is pushing so much power that you outrank anything else, while at the same time creating your brand's relationship to the keywords, like new cars in Seattle. Buy a new car in Seattle. New cars near me. How that person starts that car buying process. Okay, so how do you target that? Is it used cars? How do we go after that? How do we then relate these, 3,900 dealers or 25 dealers in Seattle? How do these all relate? Can we bring them all into one umbrella? Do we have to create separate entities for each one of these? Do we need maybe 5 entities where each one would have 5? Now you're talking about how this is all going to be put together, but the process on how you get all of this to work and the systems, well, that's been, Semantic Mastery has been around 8 years, so it's 8 years in the making at least. And I've been online 18 years, so it's 18 years at the very least that we've been at this, helping people to create these systems and processes so that the system and process then takes over for you. And you can kind of then you can take that management overview where you're not really doing anything except directing the people who do the things that you're supposed to do, who train, who apply, and who help you make money. I mean, that's the whole thing. And the place to be is, once again, the Heavy Hitter Club. If you join both the Semantic Mastery Mastermind and the Heavy Hitter Club, you get a steep discount on the Heavy Hitter Club, which I need to talk to Rob about doing something, because it's people aren't paying enough for the value that they're getting. I'm always saying we have to raise the prices. We have to raise the prices. We're giving away too much. But literally, we put everything, we detail it. We start from entities in the Heavy Hitter Club and work our way all the way up to now we're doing iframes, finishing up iframes. And then we're doing case studies, local. We're doing e-commerce case studies. So everything is there for you to take advantage of it. So he's a senior consultant for Ford.
Sweet. I just bought a brand new Ford Ranger 2.5 weeks ago. So it's pretty cool. Joe Dirte.
Right on.
Joe Dirte.
It's pronounced Dirte.
Awesome. Well, James, hopefully we see you around and can see how this progresses, whether it's Hump Day Hangouts or Heavy Hitters Club, Mastermind, whatever ends up floating your boat and gets you the results. Looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah.
No, he didn't hijack the call. He just posted on there. Nobody else is posting questions, and this is worthwhile getting into because people need to know what it is that's offered. I mean, it's not just MGYB, it's not just link building and iframes. We help you put together your entire business. We help you make your entire business a success. And the bottom line is, are you making money? Because if you're not, then it's fucking useless. I always say the proof of a prophet is whether the prophecy comes true. Well, the proof of an SEO is whether he can get your shit to rank and then help you make money. Because if he doesn't, then he's useless as an SEO. And you'll see a lot of these churn and burn that they do nothing. And then they have to go get other clients because they know they're not going to do anything with those clients. So the pipeline constantly has to be full of clients because of the churn and burn methods. Well, I've had clients for over a day, for nearly 15 years, one client. They won't leave. I can't get them to leave. Like, they keep offering me more money, and I'm not going to turn good money away. But I'm saying that's the difference. That's between the guys who are Johnny Come lately and the guys who have withstood the test of time, like Semantic Mastery. So there you go. He said, order a Lightning, Bradley.
Yeah. Now I downgraded from an F-150 because cost of gas is going through the roof. So I got a little bit of a smaller truck, and it's nice though. I like it. It's very nice. So anyways, all right, guys. Thanks everybody. Well, I guess we can wrap up a couple minutes early. Thanks for Look at that. There's one of those invisible banners I just hit.
Awesome. I love it. James just said, order a Lightning, LOL.
See you guys. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.